We're checking into Psyck.
Psyck.
Yo, check it out. It's a sick discussion.
You tuned in to Sick Discussions. You are now listening to a Sick Discussion.
Yo, welcome back to another episode of Sick Discussion.
Sick.
As always, it's your boy, Reggie So Dope.
What up? What up? It's Devin.
What's good, y'all? This Marv.
And I'm Shelby.
Oh, wait, I was supposed to introduce
Do
you?
we need another take?
All right,
Okay.
no, we're doing it just like this. Okay?
Oh my-
Just like this.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
As y'all see, there's lots of laughs going around. Half of us are exhausted. We've had long days, but we got an OG in the basement.
Let's go.
We got Shelby with us today.
Yes.
Shells,
Hey,
what up?
y'all. Thank you for
Shelby.
having me.
So
I'm excited.
Shelby,
Yes.
tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
I am an artist.
Period.
I fall under an umbrella. I like to write. I'm a photographer. I'm getting into creative direction, but you know, I got a 9 to 5 holding it down right now in retail, but you know,
Bills paid.
yeah, got to get the bills paid. But
So, fun fact about Shelby. Shelby is an OG. What's a sick
go.
discussion?
The Sick.
We never dropped like a behind the scenes documentary or nothing.
Not
but
a
like
documentary.
we've had
Not
like
for real, though.
4 cast changes.
mhm.
That's because we're trying to get it right for y'all. And so Shelby was a part of like the OG crew.
Original.
Me,
The
Marvin, and
original.
Shelby. We recorded a
Yes.
whole season. They got lost in
Your dad's
cyberspace. Did
Not
a whole
cyberspace.
photo shoot in my apartment that is still on my computer, and I look bad, y'all. I ain't gonna say we, but it was tough times.
It was a different time.
But so happy that one of the OGs can pull up to season 2 to have a much needed conversation.
Let's go.
All right. And so today's conversation is centered around gender norms because especially in our community, people be confused. People just don't understand what gender norms are, gender roles.
Right.
Then you got people
It's
who just gonna be mean about it, just regardless. Like
Insensitive.
people who just are super insensitive. And then we got those people who just don't know, but because Twitter makes you feel like you should have learned this in
Twitter.
like 4th grade,
yeah.
like
But
you
you
just too
didn't.
scared to just not talk about it.
Yeah, which
So-
that's a new thing
Yeah.
now, where like they're talking about like sex and gender at such a early age. Not
Yeah.
to say whether it's good or bad, but it's just like we didn't talk about that so young.
Like, at all.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So it's just like,
But that's because what they're exposed to now.
yeah.
Mhm.
And so we gonna get into it. So my first question is, what the fuck is gender?
What is
What
that?
is
What is
gender?
that even?
Mhm.
So do we want to do like we want to read the actual definition?
I want to see some thoughts first.
Some thoughts.
Go ahead, Shelby.
Okay. Gender is to me, in my opinion, it's just how a person wants to present themselves
Mhm.
to the world, or how they feel on the inside. Like, so it has nothing to do with sex, in my opinion. It's just the way, you know how they say you have your stage self,
Mhm.
Mhm.
you know, however you act or how you are comfortable in front of other people, or with yourself, really. Because sometimes you could be comfortable in your own gender role,
Mhm.
like to yourself, but not around other people. So it's just like wherever you feel the most comfortable in your own skin.
Ooh, now we podding.
Okay. She came through with some thoughts. Okay.
That's what happens when you pre-give me the question.
You better get this bachelor's in psychology degree.
I know, right?
All
Yeah.
right. Anybody else want to add to that? Any parsley?
No, it's basically the same thing. I mean, I put on my notes, my handy dandy notebook, just the
go.
characteristics that people kind of use to
Mm-hmm.
like describe themselves and how they're presented in society. So basically, what
Mhm.
Shelby said, but less words.
Yes. Sometimes I need that concise. We need.
They got it.
Okay. Cool. So let's see the actual definition.
Okay, I looked it up.
What it
Go
say? What it say?
Shells!
What it say?
Shelby shining out here.
All right. So it says either of the two sexes, male and female, especially when considered with reference to social and cultural differences rather than biological ones. The term is also used more broadly to denote a range of identities that do not correspond to established ideas of male and female. So they're basically trying to say like what we said in the beginning, but then it kind of like brings it back a little bit because it's like now it's giving like a broad, it's giving it like it's a spectrum, because on the first part of the definition it's like male, female.
Yeah.
But then it goes into say like there's a range of identities that don't necessarily correspond to those two things too. So that's just like, I feel like that has to have been a new addition to the definition of gender now that we like look at it on such a broad spectrum.
I agree.
Yeah.
I love that. So that's like going into my next question then. So like, how exactly does gender and sex differ?
I mean, your sex to me is the body parts you're born with. Like, you don't have to like actually act in any certain way because of how you were born, but it's just like how you categorize what you were born as. And I feel like that's like the bare bones of it. I feel like people, you can just leave sex at that. Like, I feel like the deep conversation really is around gender. People get caught up in the sex a lot, but it's like how you identify is different than like what you were actually born as. And that's okay to be born as male and identify as a female. Like, it's okay. Like, you could still say you were born male, like to me, like, you know, but.
Okay, y'all got any parsley? Because I already got a curveball.
Oh, not the curve. Don't even be like, well, what about?
Throw your curveball.
Right,
so
throw the curve.
Here's the thing that fucks with me. Okay. So as I was taking sociology classes, I learned that there were actually like 5 different like sexes.
Yeah.
And some are even go back into like being recognized and identified in hieroglyphics. So there's like male, right? And then there's female. And then it's hermaphrodite, where you like have both dick and balls, vagina, ovary, testosterone, and estrogen. And then you have like male pseudo hermaphrodite, where it's like you have male parts with estrogen in your body, and then you have female pseudo hermaphrodite, which is like women parts and then testosterone. And so like in knowing that's how it is, and doctors are just out here snipping dicks and sewing lips on babies, is like, yo, we're like, where do you go with like the sex and gender? That how does it differ if like I got dick and balls, but I don't know estrogen's flowing through me, I'm just a lot more sensitive and like things like that. Like that's what makes it difficult for me.
Yeah, but I feel like that's why it's so important that the times are changing. Like that they are learning that stuff sooner or later. And we damn near 20. We just now hearing about this stuff. Like, and it's hard for a lot of people to accept like the difference between the two. Like, like you said, you're born with a certain part, but you identify as something completely different. But like our whole lives, we've been like, you know, taught like, okay, if you this, you just strictly this. Like you that, you that. Like, so there's no gray area. So the fact that they are starting to teach us so younger, like maybe not our generation, but like, you know, down the line, like it'll be a little bit easier for people to understand those things.
I don't know. It gets complicated to me because, you know, to talk about gender in certain capacities, you have to talk about sex. And to me, there's certain sex conversations, like just as a young child, like you don't necessarily need to be discussing like with other people. Like talking about your gender identity comes to play when you start to when you start to like act out certain things. And it's just like when, you know, little like younger children talk about it, it's kind of like, do you like boys? You like girls? You wear dresses, you wear pants, like, but you know, coming to explain it as an adult, like you may have to start talking about sex or like, you know, liking boys or liking girls. And it's like, are they even ready for that yet? You know what I mean? But it's like if you're having to identify your gender because so many people are trying to categorize you, it like gets a little hairy for me where it's like, the access to information is good, but the wealth of it sometimes is overwhelming. That's why when like you have a kid with an iPad, it's great that they know how to use it and navigate it because they're so advanced, but you still put the protection on it because there's certain things they just don't need to see. They don't need to be exposed to. They don't need to talk about because it's a complex thing that is not just dresses and bows or basketballs. And, you know, it gets real deep. And so to have to like put it into so many tiny concise statement, like that concise statement you gave, like how, you know, how do you articulate that to like a 6-year-old to where they're really like getting it, you know, and not like offending another or whatever. So it gets a little, it's like, it's good that there's more information and it gets deeper so you can explain, but it's like when it starts to be like ingrained or implemented in like these early stages, it kind of like throws me off a little bit.
What you cooking up, Mar? I see you again. Like, you too, Devin. I'm like, what y'all giving?
Okay, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah. I see where you coming from too, though, because it's like you want to have like the more information, the better. The more people who are willing to share their experiences and talk about like feeling like, okay, like I'm a woman and I feel like a man, or, you know, talking about that and being open is important because like everybody is different. Like we need more examples. That's why in psychology and stuff, they do case studies because everyone's a different human. So it's like, let's talk about it. But with the babies, you know, it's just let them be how they are. And then they can talk about it when they're, you know, it's like the birds and the bees. Like you got to have it at a certain stage.
Talking about gender with odd nigga kids, y'all about to get a lot of people bullied. Teach a 5th grader hermaphrodites and pseudo hermaphrodites. Like, bruh. My God, the jokes. The bullying.
But that's life. You know, bully is a buzzword these days, and it's like kids been getting, it's not right, but kids have been getting teased and picked. They're gonna find something. Like my mom used to tell me that all the time when I would change like 15 times trying to get ready for school, like when I was in high school, and I'm like, oh, I just noticed that this got a little hole in it. She like, if they notice that little hole, like people are gonna find things regardless. So you could literally be perfect, dressed to the nines, and like they still gonna be like, well, you got a scuff on your boob, right? They're gonna talk about you anyway. So it's just like that. I mean, it's gonna happen regardless. It shouldn't, but it will.
As long as people know.
And so, and so the information should still be there, but I don't know.
So is there like an age that we think like where you should start talking about this?
Age.
Personally, I think like starting maybe 6th grade, whatever the grade is for 6th grade, like ages. I don't teach it, so I don't know the number.
6th grade.
But like, because I think 6th grade at that point, and again, I can only talk about my Black experiences. Some of us was having sex. Yeah. Like people was getting hand jobs, all types of like, you was in the back of the bus, back of the busing.
They started So
we started to experiment with those things. Like I just, we were disgusting. You know what I mean? We niggas was stealing their parents' porn. Like all types of that happened. All that happens around that 6th grade, 5th, 6th grade. So I think by 6th grade, when y'all can establish you want a girlfriend, boyfriend, you want to touch on that booty, touch on that penis, whatever the fuck you touching on. Like I think that's the time where cool. Let's talk about sex and gender, and let's give you the spectrum.
Yeah, right. Because when you think that there are only two, you know, you may feel confused or feel boxed in, and when you're coming into like maturity and you feeling like all of your puberty and your hormones and stuff like that, it's good to know like that, you know, you don't have to be in like a box. I just think it should be taught with resources though. Because if I'm a person, I'm a boy, right? But I know I'm really sensitive, I'm moody, all of this, whatever. And then you tell me I can have male parts and have estrogen running through my body, that might further fuck me up. You know what I mean? Because I might think, oh shit, I'm a nigga bitch. You know what I mean? I'm a bitch. You might judge yourself too harshly.
I just think they should get resources to at least specialists, whatever. Go check that out. Don't just introduce them to it like, all right, good luck. Like, nah, give them something to where them and their parents can go follow up if they are inquiring.
I agree.
Yeah.
Something to read, something.
So that's dope. This is interesting. I like where this is going. It's
Yeah.
intellectual AF. And so, AF. So as we continue to move forward, next question would be then like, so then what are gender norms? Looking at these constructs that we're putting out there, like what exactly are gender norms?
Yeah, I mean, basically, they're like standards and expectations kind of just put on individuals by society and like different cultures or like even a community. So like one big like obvious gender norm is like women are supposed to be able to like cook. Like that's been a gender norm for forever.
Literally
So,
forever.
yeah. So then it's like, does the guy that's growing up like 7 and he likes to cook, how does that make him feel? Like, oh, I'm not supposed to like to
Does he
cook.
feel feminine now because he
Yeah.
likes to cook or something? Yeah.
Okay.
There are so many gender norms like that. I feel like even the most conscious and aware person like is either perpetuating them, and I don't necessarily think it's incorrect to have like certain things. It's just like certain categories and generalizations. I just think it becomes harmful when people like either try to force or expect for you to do things. Like it's okay that like, okay, I'm a woman and I like to wear heels. Okay, cool. Like, so, but you shouldn't like expect me to have on heels every time I walk into a room or think I'm less of a woman because I am not wearing them that day, you know? So it's cool. Like if I'm playing into it for myself, cause that's what makes me comfortable. But it gets frustrating when like people just like with the cooking thing where it's like, what if I don't like that? What if I don't like cooking? Like, it's okay. Like everybody got to eat. You know, you should know how. You should know how in general. But like just because I'm not, you know, a 5-star chef, like ready to do, you know, 6 courses every night, like that doesn't mean that like I'm less of a woman. Because people start to degrade you when you're not fitting into them norms. And that's not fair.
Okay. Okay, so we just went in.
Cool. Can I get into y'all business?
Okay.
Y'all business since we so smart.
Sure.
All right, so like, have you ever noticed yourself performing gender? Given that we saying these are socially created constructs and the shit's in our head, right? Like, have you ever noticed like, shit, I'm performing the fuck out of this gender? Let's talk about it. Let's just go around the room. Start with Suave and make our way down. Like, when, how are you performing gender? Like, when did you notice?
This is good.
Because
Shelby,
what you got to say?
Go ahead, Shelby. Go ahead.
I mean, I think like at one point everybody kind of, whether they know it or not, kind of performed like a gender norm based on like how like society raised us. And it's like even now in 2020, people are like still fighting to break different like gender norms. Like when I was even going back to like when I was younger, my mom would go to the nail salon, and then like I would think like nail salon, like women are only supposed to go to the nail salon, but then like once I started liking, like I need a little pedicure, I need my nails clipped.
Men,
like,
please take care of your feet. Whether you go to a salon or do it at home, soak them things.
It's like that's an example of like back in the day, like maybe if you were like a man that got your nails done or like went to a spa, people are like, oh, he kind of soft. But now in 2020, it's like you don't go get your
take
nails
care of
done.
yourself,
like,
King.
Like, what you
take
doing,
care
King?
of yourself.
What you doing, King? Like,
what
you got booty diggers? Yeah, we used to call people fingers booty diggers.
Jesus.
Okay, so I was thinking, and I guess the reason why I paused when you asked this question, I was thinking like, when do I think about it? But I guess for me personally, I more realized when, like you said, I'm acting outside of the regular roles.
You feel like you personally act outside of the regular?
No, I think those are the times when I have realized it. If I'm doing something, like,
notice yourself.
You're like, they're supposed to be really doing this. Like they say, man, those are the times I probably will realize it more than I'm just.
What's something you feel like you did though that was like?
I'll say something I was a little bit when I started paying more attention to. It was later, like in college, when like an organization I was in, we would do like shopping trips. And I didn't really get like the gist of it was to like, you know, help black men find like, you know, suits and ties so they could be dressed up. I
Yeah.
was just like, I never really did this much
Right,
shopping
like, we
before.
going
Like, I'm trying to
shopping?
read this stuff with my mom. Like,
Y'all do this for fun?
yeah. Like seeing other
Yes.
men like actually enjoy it. Like then it took a little bit more time. Like, okay, it's okay for men to like, you know, indulge like
And-
more in their fashion. And
Yeah.
okay, like having a high sense of fashion and like it's not really merely
Yes.
to like,
That's a good
you know, like
example.
go dressing. I mean, I dress like go like shopping with like other guys. Like, okay, it's a group thing. We all like it's a purpose for it. So
Mhm.
it took some time for me to like for it to click. I was like, I've never done this before. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Not to see them so excited. It was like, yeah, I'm like, oh, okay.
Are they okay?
Macy's. I love Burlington.
Looking around.
Everybody in the suit section, Marv looking at drawers. and
Okay.
jerseys.
Right.
Flip
Where the
flops.
socks at? Oh my
That's
goodness.
it. Okay, so that's so you realize that like, okay, cool, something's weird or interesting here.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was different. Something new.
Shells, when have you noticed yourself performing gender?
I feel like I've noticed it a lot more recently with just me because I'm on the later end of my 20s and just thinking about like what type of woman I want to be. So it's like, what does that mean? Like on, you know, looking at myself, like, who are you? Like, what type of woman are you? Are you the woman that wears heels? Are you the woman that cooks? Or, you know, so I think about it when I'm just reflecting on self and kind of trying to indulge in certain like self-care activities, what I find myself liking to do, like what makes me feel the most feminine or womanly or empowered in that way. And another thing too is just with me like dating. I feel like I think about what same inversely, like what type of man would I want to be with? Because I know I want to marry like a man one day. So it's like, but what kind of man? Like, you know, because if you don't really know what type of person you're looking for or who would be compatible with you, then it's like you kind of the dating thing is just aimless at that point. So it's like when I really started to think like what type of man do I want to be with, that's when like the gender thing was coming up to me, where it's like, you know, like, are you going to the salon with your man to get your nails and feet done? Yes. Like, you know, in my head, yes, I would be like, not like, you know, and going back to what I was saying, not forcing you to do anything, like, but I would want you to feel comfortable doing it in general, even if you don't, even if it's not a self-care thing for you as consistently as me. Like, I wouldn't want like a man who felt uncomfortable with doing something like taking care of his own, like, hygiene in that way, because certain men feel like, oh, it's feminine if you don't, you know, going beyond just the washing in the shower. Like if you do anything past that, it's like it's too much or it's extra or you know. So yeah, dating and then like coming into my own like womanhood self-care journey has me like thinking about gender the most. Like yeah,
Gotcha. Dev.
I answered in the
that
beginning,
that
but
one
I can.
first.
he said he can reiterate.
No, because y'all the people. Y'all gonna listen back. Devin gave us a real general
I
situation.
answered. But overall, growing up for me was kind of different. I was raised by a single mom, and I grew up mostly around women. So I would say that I have more of the opposite. Like growing up, like they like to shop. I always kept like a fresh fit. I needed a fresh fit, fresh haircut.
Right, whenever you
My
go
mom's
somewhere
lotions,
new.
I thought my mom's lotion smelled the greatest. So like,
Yes.
I'll put it on this flower, this lavender.
Ooh.
It smells good.
Yes.
And I realized, like, high
You
school.
got the taste of the good life.
Yeah,
early.
then like in high school, I kind of realized like when the girls roll out their lavender lotion, and I'd be like, yeah, I don't care. It smells like lavender. I'll use the lotion. But then like the guy next to me was like, why are you putting?
Why are you
lavender
putting that
lotion?
on?
I'm like, it smells good.
It's
I don't know what to.
lotion,
It's
that's
lotion.
right.
You want me to be ashy? Like,
Ashy or smell like lavender? Not a hard decision.
yeah.
Okay.
Reggie.
Ooh, oh.
Yeah,
Right, it's
not so
on you.
fast. Buckaroo.
So it's like interesting. So I also grew up in a house full of like women. Got 6 other brothers and sisters, and so there was a time where like all of us was in the house, with the exception of one of my brothers. But whatever the case, but house full of women. Most of my aunties and uncles were just I was about to say most of my aunties and uncles are aunties, but like so on my mom's side,
That's
it's
like a
literally like
personality trait.
I have
the
5
auntie.
aunties, 1 uncle. You know what I mean? On my mom's side, like no aunties on my dad's side, one uncle. And so like, given that my family's a matriarch, it's like I found myself performing gender quite often, actually. You know what I mean? Like from being forced to take out the garbage, even though I wasn't the oldest in the crib, whatever. It's like, you're the boy, take out the garbage.
That is that chore thing. Because it's me and my brother where it's like you get certain chores based on, you know, like you said, I'm older than my brother, but he was taking out the trash. I never took out the trash ever. Like, even though I could lift a trash bag before him, you know, and it's just like, I mean, not to say I wanted to take out the trash. That's why I'm like, I play into gender roles, but looking back on it, it really is just like, that's not really fair. Like,
we
in
gonna
terms
be equal.
of,
You take your ass out there.
right, exactly.
There were moments where, so I played sports, still at this point, majority of my life. Like, started with baseball, then went into like basketball. From there, I did volleyball. I did soccer for some of y'all.
Every sport.
Track, football, like all of it. You know what I mean? And then as I got older, I actually realized I didn't give a damn about sports. So like, I had got good at sports as a way of performing gender.
Yeah.
And like, now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Let them play. I don't care about like, unless it's like boxing or MMA or something like that. But like, I'm not about to sit here and just watch the game with you. If it's on and if like it's a kickback, cool. But I couldn't tell you who playing what, and I don't give a damn.
Me. I'd be like, who we rooting for? Okay, great.
Listen.
Who we rooting for?
Go Bears. Although I heard they're doing terrible.
They're trash. Yeah. But if it's not, it's like I'm on Chicago side, but I don't have like a team. Like, I'm like,
cool. Yo, y'all are killing it. Like, y'all are potting right
what
now.
A moderator.
You know?
Are you on Clubhouse? You need to be on Clubhouse.
I need to see what's to this Clubhouse.
I'm going to invite you.
Okay, no, you gotta inform me first because I don't even have it downloaded.
Okay.
Okay, so let's keep it going then. So we've noticed times where we've found ourselves performing gender, right? And so now my question to y'all is like, are gender roles helpful at all? And if so, how are they helpful? If not, why not?
Are they helpful?
I would say the only helpful thing, I would say no, but the only helpful thing about it was to figure out what you like and what you don't like, but you don't necessarily need roles to figure that out.
Right. Yeah. I don't feel like they're necessary. Just because anyone can like have the capacity to do any one thing, like if they want. I mean, relatively speaking, like just, you know, everyone can't do everything, but it's just like certain things I feel like should be separated. Like when you were saying like the sports thing, like I don't think that should be like combined where it's like men and women competing or in certain things. But like I don't think like you said, I don't think the role, like where it being like, if you are a man, you have to do this. If you are a woman, you have to do this, or you need to do that. Like that doesn't need to exist, but there should be some type of like separation to where it's like, all right, not saying that like women can't play football, but women just shouldn't be playing with other men. Yeah. You know what I mean? Competitively. Because it's just like, sis, like there are just facts, like you know, like I'm not getting ready to tackle you. I'm just not. Like it's not gonna happen.
The male's body is supposed to endure just more strength, more pain, more tenacity. So no matter how hard you work, sis, the man who works just
but there are okay now my devil on the shoulder is arguing because it's just like, who's to say just as a woman I'm smaller than you though? Maybe I could tackle you. Like just there are women bigger than me because I'm thinking women. I'm thinking just me, my perspective. But it's just like there are women who may feel like they can compete with you, like you know, or any one of y'all. So it's just like I don't know. I don't know. Okay, I'm going against I'm going against myself right now. Like, do I believe in them or no? Like I don't know.
I mean, but these are real facts.
Yeah, like
Marv, do you feel like gender roles are helpful at all?
You know, me being, I guess, like so new to like, you know, honestly being open and learning, like, you know, certain roles in gender. I go back and forth a lot. Like sometimes I say yes, sometimes I say no. Like, and I think a lot of people, like how I think like a lot of people can be like hypocritical sometimes on like social media because like you'll see like threads and stuff like, okay, well, like I want a man that's like A, B, and C, like this is like characteristics of a strong man. But then again, like he does A, B, and C, like certain things. But then again, like, we try to preach like, you know, like, oh, just like all be equal. Like,
Equal.
yeah. So like, and that's
that
like,
equality thing is like,
it's like
what is equal? You know, because
like you said, I try to go back and forth because there are things that only women can do, and like I think that there are things that men do, like, and they're just as important. So that's why I be confused sometimes. Like I'm still learning. That's why I say sometimes I say yes, sometimes I say no. Because like I saw like people are posting like the last, I guess, like top few artists over the year they've been listening to like the most, and I seen like a lot of men that had like Janae Aiko in their thread, like their little list.
Yeah,
and I seen some women posting like, and men too. They was like, bro, like you listen to woo, you listen to such and such.
what's wrong with that?
Exactly. So it's like certain things. Like it's sometimes they're in places they shouldn't be.
Yeah,
like, music is music. Like you shouldn't be like, okay,
man,
we're not supposed to listen to this.
Right,
like,
but I guess that, I mean, now that you're saying that, I feel like gender is like attached to everything.
Literally
like
everything.
that's a girl song. That's a guy. Like you know,
Yeah.
because you know, I like to listen to hood rap music, and people might not think like.
Exactly.
But even when a woman listens to hood music, they're like, you're expected to twerk to it. If you throwing your
right, and I'll be
right.
I'm not necessarily like all in the.
You get behind somebody and juke on them, they like, oh, she darking it, cuz. It's like,
Or whatever.
nah.
And that's another thing with same-sex relationships and couples, gender roles, I feel like are so prominent. And it's just like when two, like, just personal experience, like a friend of mine, like their relationship, they're two women and they got into a fight.
Mhm.
You know, but you know, should in general, like y'all, you know, y'all don't need to be fighting, but it's just like, what does that really look like when, you know, if in that case, if the police were called and it's like, it's just two women, y'all are two women fighting, but this is a romantic, domestic violence situation. This is not just like a fight, like a general assault, like, cause y'all are in a dynamic. And I feel like if you are, and you don't even have to necessarily like be telling them like, you know, like how you identify, but you may be judged or be looked at like the one to have started it or whatever, just based on, right, if you're the one who like looks more masculine. And it's like, that's not, these are two women. Like that means nothing.
And the
like,
one that looks the most masculine in my experiences are typically the softer, more gentle.
Yes.
But it's like, but again, that's why in like lesbian relationships, I'm always baffled, and I hope not to sound ignorant or piss somebody off, because I'm like, y'all are two women, whatever. Like, why are we still conforming to this gender role? Like, do we really gotta? Because
there are options.
But then it's like, but maybe you feel like a boy inside. But why does feeling like a boy means baggy pants and a fade? And so it's just things that's in my mind where it's like, I hope not to sound ignorant, but it's like, yo, like even in the LGBT community, it's like we are still conforming to gender norms. We're literally like, you've gotten beat the fuck up and bullied and harassed for being different. And then once you accept your difference, you start to conform to gender norms. So it fucks with me. Like it literally does.
That's interesting.
And so like in my thought of are gender norms helpful, I feel like kind of. Like, and I say kind of with kind of more so leaning towards yes, because like, let's be real. Society is still going to always determine what we like, what we don't like, what's popular, what's not. And in any aspects of like fitting into society, it's like you have to understand the gender norms. Like in a perfect world, we'd all say to hell with gender norms and it's gonna be what it is. It's not a perfect world. The closest thing we get in the perfect is Joe Biden getting rid of our loans. Perfect is our world getting. So it's like, that's why I would say it's helpful, because I would love to present a fantasy world, but this shit ain't nowhere near fantasy land. So yeah, so that's my thoughts.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to agree, but it's like, this is what it is for now.
See, I was when you say helpful because like society is gonna like determine that, that's kind of make me think like, is it helpful or like are we just conforming? That's why I was kind of thinking like,
and see, it's like
a lot of
conforming. Like it's like
yeah.
Am I necessarily conforming because that's what I like though? You know what I mean? Like just, is it conforming if it's truly a part of my identity? No, I don't think so. Like just like you were saying, if you just want to wear the baggy pants, like it's just that's just what you want to do because that's how you feel comfortable. I feel like there's with conforming, like determining whether it's like you're conforming to it or not, or it's controlling you, is like truly on your personal intention. Like, why are you doing this? Okay. It's not like what you're doing. It's like, why are you doing it though? And if it's because like society says you should, or you're not going to be accepted, that's one thing. But that's also a true thing. So it's kind of hard for me too, because it's like, I mean, if you got bills to pay and you want to present a certain way at work because it's just easier for you, like who am I to say that that's inappropriate? Because it's just like we're evolving. It's not completely changed yet. So it's like I'm not about to be like, well, you need to be uncomfortable at work every day, just because like if it's not like a huge deal for you to go ahead and, dress a little different for work and then do whatever you do when you get home or around your loved ones, then cool. But it's like, if it does severely bother you, to do that and to change, then that's when I feel like it's like conforming.
I can see a part 2 to this. I can just see it because like gender is ever changing. It's so much
and it's a lot of, and then they added more and more letters to the acronym. Ooh. I don't even know all of them. There are pluses.
All right, so let's keep it moving though. So I love that we're so fucked up about these gender roles right now. I do. I love it. I love that we're fucked up about the gender norms because I feel like we're all humans who are like, we're trying to do better. We're trying to be the most upright, upstanding
being
human
aware.
Beings. But then we had these upbringings, like, and we have what the fuck, like, how do I know society taught me versus this is what I want because society embedded it in my like DNA almost.
Right.
So my question to you all is, how does one learn gender roles? Like, where did it start? Like, when did you start to pick up on these roles?
Birth. Literally. Before you even knew what you were ingesting, you were probably being genderized.
TV shows
people are having gender reveals.
It's like literally everywhere.
You know what I mean? Like, how you having a gender reveal? No judgment to people who have gender reveals. I don't have no children.
I think that's as simple as that answer could be, right? Because it's the little things from you having a boy, blue. You having
a girl, pink. I'm gonna be like, I'm having a girl. It's gonna be like green or something.
No, but some people choose to not find out until the baby's
I don't want to know.
You get greens and yellow.
Neutral colors like browns and blacks and tans. I'm gonna have a new millennium.
People are talking to their babies and their stomach. Oh, you're gonna be a strong baby boy, like little boy, and it's like, well, damn, can you have the option to be weak? Can you
have a strong girl, strong boy?
So so I would say from birth.
From birth, for sure.
Cool. So then, like, because gender norms and gender roles are thrown on us so quickly before we even like have a full face. Do we believe that like gender roles should be removed? And if so, what's the best way y'all think we should like start to unlearn them, or just the best way to stop feeding into gender roles?
I feel like they're always gonna be a thing, honestly. And like as the years go on, we're gonna see more people be like more fluid with whatever they want to do and act, like how it is in like 2020 compared to like 2001. Like things are very different. Like we've learned more. They've added more words to everything.
Sure the hell did.
So like maybe
LGBTQ. Well, LGBTQ plus. Like,
But so maybe in 2040 this conversation will be very different.
It's just gonna be like L plus.
Oh.
It's just gonna be plus. That's what it's gonna be. It's just gonna be plus.
I'm just gonna like replay this for my grandchildren and just be like, look, y'all, this all y'all need to
We
know.
just going
Right?
through it.
We're gonna play it for your grandkids. Gonna be like, look,
They
y'all.
gonna already know,
Same
right?
shit. The same shit y'all dealing with. We talked about 30 years ago.
No, seriously, we still trying to figure it out, huh?
We still got a 2-part.
Y'all still right? Y'all still doing them gender reveals, huh?
Burning forests down and shit.
Oh my god,
Okay.
that happened in California, didn't it?
Fucked up.
It did.
Yeah.
So, all right. So again, so the question for those of us who just played through it, should gender roles be revealed? And like, if so, what do y'all think are the best practices to either unlearn them or just to stop feeding into them in general?
I feel like if we can just all try to, when you meet someone, just meet them how they bring themselves to you. Like, so I'm like, hi, I'm Shelby. Hi, I'm Devin. Like, and we just go from there. Like, however, like, because what else, like, what else really matters? Like, if we're like in this situation, okay, like certain information we may need to know is like, okay, where'd you go to school? What'd you study? Discussing the questions, like, but it's not like we need to even necessarily know, like, what you about to be doing after this, or what, are your toenails painted, or that's, who cares? Like, it's not even, so to kind of not overly attach ourselves to those certain personal details until someone wants to open up about them, and then just being accepting and open and not judging if they do something differently than you or what you're used to seeing. Just kind of like acknowledging that each person is different. Households are different. Like, even, we're all Black here, but, there are certain things that are associated culturally with that. We're just like, we all Black. So we might think that we have like all these things in common, when in actuality, we could have been all raised totally different and have totally different perspectives on everything, even though we're all in the same city. So just kind of being more open to people and just letting them be individuals, like really honing in on like, everyone's an individual. Like, they don't even, your very own sister, you could be totally opposite from. Like, you don't even have to be anything like her. You can literally like nothing she likes and still be whatever. Like, however you could still function in society and not be like the next woman or like the next man or whatever.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah.
Suave.
Okay.
Suave, ma.
Fellas.
That's your name on Twitter, right?
Literally, he's Marty Marv.
Love that.
He's Suave Mob.
Suave, ma.
That's what it is. So to answer, I'm literally over here thinking like, should they be removed?
Should they
Going
be
through
removed?
in my head, I'm like listening to y'all answers, like maybe they'll persuade me. But I don't know who said it earlier, but like, in a fantasy world, like in a perfect world, we would say yes, like we should just completely remove them, like you said. But in the world we live in, like in how society set up, like you can really set like it can just be a mess for certain people. So like, I think hopefully one day we will be able to like be a little bit more accepting, even if they don't like completely go, like at least learn to accept people for who they are. Like you said, if that's really how they identify, if they they want to, like you said, wear baggy pants because that's how they truly feel like comfortable, like in their like in their skin. Like whether you agree with them or not, just accept it. Like, okay, just leave it at what it is.
Yeah, it's just like, cool, why you people just be too much like in other people's business. Like, if this is literally not affecting you, it does not matter. Like, and if it is, like, if you're doing something that's upsetting me or affecting me, then it's my responsibility to remove myself, because I am the one in control of me. I can't control what anybody else is doing. Like, so if I'm in an environment where people are doing things that are making me afraid or uncomfortable or just out of my element, I can choose to adapt and adjust. or I can leave. Like, but I'm not about to be like, what y'all doing? Why y'all
Get
like
that bread, get that head,
Right, then
and leave.
he's out, okay? I'm out of here. Like, ain't none of my business.
I feel that. I feel that.
Mind your business.
Damn. Damn.
I definitely would say it's like, just look at the bigger picture. Like,
Mhm.
if a guy's wearing a dress and you see him on the street, are you gonna die because he's wearing a dress? Like,
Yeah, I'm saying,
The
no.
world's not about to end. Like, let him go about his day. Like, if a girl want to wear baggy pants, let her wear. Are you dying? Like, how is this
No.
affecting you? Like, is
Yeah.
your health in jeopardy? Like,
Yeah.
no. Like, just let people be how they want to be. It's like really that simple, but it's still hard for people in society.
No, there's there's like a I don't know what credit card it is, but they now have like a credit card that allows for you to put your chosen name on it.
Mhm.
So like if you're like transgender, you can like still, because we know how like crazy
Steal
people
somebody's
are.
identity.
Huh?
I'm about to steal an identity. I'm
Oh.
about to put a name on this
Oh
card.
my God.
Reggie, you ruin it for everybody.
But you know,
else.
people
I'm
be
sorry.
getting killed just because it's like, okay, if I walk up to someone and be like, my name is Joe, and I would like for you to call me Joe, people will like, no, it ain't. Your mama ain't named you that.
Yeah.
I'm Joe. Like, then you don't know me to tell me who I am. Like, how are you telling me who I am? So literally the fact that there's a card that's like, okay, we're trying to protect you because your identity is not safe because so many people are harming people they either don't understand or just are trying not to accept, even though they're not threatening them or killing them. It's like, it's crazy. So I feel like that's kind of, I don't know.
I'm calling off the scamdemic. That was a good reason.
Calling out the scam.
Okay, that was a good reason. Yeah, as Marvin was saying though, like gender roles to be completely removed. This is not happening in our world. It's not no fantasy. But I do think, Shelby, you said a good part I want to reiterate. To begin to unlearn those gender roles or at least stop feeding into them, you just have to ask yourself why. And not why to anybody else but
Right, yourself.
Why am I doing this thing? Why do I like football? Why do I wear these clothes? Like, why do I do these things that I do? Like, start to ask yourself those questions to help you realize, like, man, am I conforming to gender norms or gender roles? Or, like, is this just who I truly am? So, just ask yourself why. All right, so we let's start to bring this thing home. All right, so we got an advice column that we like to do, Shells. And so we got two different questions because there are two different types of people listening to this.
Okay.
So the first one, and then we can
only two
go around the room. Well,
Wow. That's crazy.
I said two types of people, not two types of sexes.
I'm just saying. It's
Maybe it's who we focusing on beginner level conversation. Okay, argue with your mom, not me. So the first question is like, what advice then do you all have for someone who is refusing to unlearn gender norms and gender roles? So it's like, this is what it is. What's up? What advice do you have for them?
get a
We've
clue.
answered it, yeah. It's like,
That's just like people are racist. Like, it's just like, okay.
please.
Right?
Like,
It's like, start to beg them at this point.
Ma'am.
Ma'am. Karen,
like, relax.
Karen, please.
Like, is your day really this bad? Like, come on.
Okay, so it sounds like you are a super stupid goofy at the point. If you are refusing to change, like, get with the program. Get with the program, ma'am. Yo, that's my favorite thing,
Like,
y'all.
ma'am. You know, I mean,
Okay, so that's the advice we have for you. If you like fuck everything we just talked about, you not changing, then you're goofy. All right, and then I mean that in the most serious and intense way. All right, so then the next question is a little more helpful. What advice then do you have for someone who wants to really comprehend these constructs that we're talking about, but they're really struggling to? What advice do you have for that person? The crowd is baffled.
I'm trying to really.
I'll go
think.
first. I'll let y'all.
Okay, go ahead.
You got it. Nope, Dev got it. Nope, I already got it.
No,
Go ahead, Richie.
Oh my, I guess I could talk.
I'm dead.
I mean, you know, I keep my answers simple, isn't it?
Okay.
It's like really as simple as just doing what makes you happy. minus like if you think it's making you conform or you're doing something to conform, then maybe that's not what makes you happy. Like just look within you and just do what makes you happy. Like it's simple, like the simple things.
It's the simple thing.
Yeah, like I like lavender lotion. It's simple. Nobody's gonna make me not like lavender lotion. You can call me all kinds of names, and I'm still gonna light my lavender candle with my lavender lotion.
Yeah.
But now you can go. So stop. You know?
Oh, you gave a good answer. I just think if you're struggling to comprehend, like, please allow yourself to be in these types of conversations, and don't feel dumb about it. Like legit, like we are all truly learning this, and it is crazy. Like some of y'all probably stopped this episode when I said there were 5 different sexes. You know what I mean? Like it is a lot to take in. So like consume what you can, like in those times, but like also just allow yourself to keep being a part, even if it's just listening. Keep taking part in these difficult conversations so that you can learn. The world is changing, and you won't get with the program unless you're fucking learning with it.
Yeah. Something you can, like someone could do to assist in the process, I think, is to just like challenge certain things where it's like something that, you know, you may like refuse to do. Like, I'm not doing that. It's like, why? Like if you did it, what would change in you, or what would anything harm you? Would it make you extremely uncomfortable? Or, is it something that you could try that you end up liking or want to be more invested in or venturing into? And it's not just, like taking out the guard. It could be like you decide to read a different genre of books one day, or you decide to, just trying things outside of your comfort zone to challenge it, and then being comfortable in your own identity when you're able to say like, no, I know I just do not like that. And versus like, that really wasn't that bad. I guess I was just being judgmental, by thinking that this was whatever. Because there's so many random like labels and judgments and stuff. But definitely trying to just step outside of yourself sometimes, or, even baby steps. If you don't want to actually do it, just put yourself in spaces, like you said, with other people who are different than you, and let it be. You know what I mean? Like, don't even what it is. Let it be.
Be
like,
there, let it be what it is.
Yeah. Observe the situation, contribute in your way, and keep it moving. Like,
all right, Suave, wrap us up. You got last one. Make it good. No pressure.
Okay, so I'll say advice for someone. Okay, so advice for someone who wants to comprehend, but it's like just like really struggling. I would just say, like you said, when you are in these conversations or situations where you're just listening, first off, just listen, because you already going against the grain, trying to learn something new. And when you are learning something new, just be like more objective than subjective. Am I saying that right? Okay, I just want to make sure. Yeah, so like go in it open minded. Don't go into it thinking the way you already think, like, or the things that societies teach you, like your parents, whatever. Like, just really try to soak up something new and like learn. And then, like you said, process how you feel about it, and then question like, okay, why am I feeling uncomfortable about this? Is it just because I've been taught something different? And I guess to go back to the other question, I do got some advice for someone that's trying to unlearn gender norms. So I would say, I realize this, like talking to friends and people that are close to me, like try to focus on like people that are like more direct to you. Like if it was your child, or like, like your cousin or somebody. Cause I feel like when it's just broad people, I would say, I don't really care. Like, it don't affect me. But if it's someone like your child, like how would you really treat them if you had a son that, he identifies as a woman, or vice versa? Like, could you treat them any differently? Because it's your child.
Some people will say absolutely yes. And some people will be like, well, I'm going to force them, or I'm about to do this to change them. And them the people that will.
Focus on your village.
Yeah, but you have to focus on like more directly to you. Because like if it's just shit, if I don't know you, like you identify as a man, and I'm really like, I really don't care. Like
that's how you get stolen.
I'm Joe.
Yeah, okay, she's Joe. Like,
we just standing in line. Like, do you think you're a woman? Do you think you need this answer?
Right.
Like, for real.
And that's what I'm saying. There be certain situations where it's like, this is not even relevant. We're in the grocery store line.
Somebody that's close to you, I think he'll hit home a little bit.
Yeah, start with your village. Okay, I like that. So with that, we gonna put the pin in it right there.
Put the pin in it.
This was dope. This was fire. We learned so much. Again, very special thank you to the OG Shelby for pulling.
Thank you, Shelby.
Man, we hope y'all enjoyed this. We hope y'all learned something. We are still learning. If you would like a follow-up to this, let us know, because these are the conversations we live for. So, as always, the world is sick.
But good conversation is the cure.
And with that, we are out.
Peace.
Yeah.